Hi everyone, my name is nelmark Gado, and for today's video, i-discuss ko ngayon yung tungkol doon sa vector addition. Okay? So, pero bago tayo magsimula about vector addition, okay, balikan lang natin ano nga ba ang physical quantities. Again, physical quantities, any number used to describe a physical phenomenon quantitatively. We have two kinds of physical quantities. There are scalar quantity, a quantity which possesses only magnitude, and vector quantity, a quantity that possesses magnitude and direction. Okay, so scalar quantity is a quantity that has magnitude only and has no direction in space. So examples of scalar quantities, we have length, area, volume, time, and mass. Okay, and vectors, a vector quantity is a quantity that has both magnitude and a direction in space. Okay, so examples of vector quantities, we have displacement, velocity, acceleration, and force. So in vector representations, we use arrow. Okay, so arrow for the directions, we have as for example in north and south. Okay, so the arrowhead points to north. Okay, and we have here directions: north, east, south, and west. The resultant vector is the vector sum of two or more vectors. Okay, so here we go. So we have four rules in getting the resultant vector. We have four cases. So the first one is two vectors acting in the same directions. So the resultant of two vectors acting in the same direction is a vector whose magnitude is equal to the sum of their magnitudes and acts in the same direction as they do. Second case, two vectors in opposite directions. The resultant of two vectors acting in the opposite directions is a vector whose magnitude is the difference of their magnitudes and which acts in the direction of the greater vector. That is for our second case. Third case, we have two vectors acting perpendicularly or right triangle. And fourth case, we have two vectors in any directions. Okay, rules in vector addition. Number one, when two given vectors are acting on the same direction. Example, two senior high school students are walking in the corridor towards the east. One has a velocity of 25 meters per second and the other is 18 meters per second. Calculate the magnitude and direction of the resultant.
Okay, so given natin sa number 1, we have V sub 1 is equal to 25 meters per second east. Then do sa V sub 2 natin, we have 18 meters per second. Same direction, east. Okay. So gagawin natin kapag same lang yung direction, pag-add lang natin ng V sub 1. So yung magiging resultant natin is V sub 1 plus V sub 2 equals 25 plus 18. So we have 43 meters per second east. Copying yun na yung direction. Okay? So, ganun lang.
Example number 2. When two given vectors are acting in the opposite direction. Example, from the library door, a senior high school student walks 7 meters west towards the next room and the other student walks 15 meters east to the computer room. Calculate the magnitude and direction of the resultant displacement of the two students.
Okay, so example number 2 natin, we have V sub 1 is equal to 7 meters west. Then sa example, sa V sub 2 natin, we have 15 meters east naman. Okay, so unlike dun sa unang example natin, dito sa example number 2, magkaiba na yung direction, no? Okay, so yung east tsaka west ay opposite direction. So ano pa yung opposite direction natin? So meron din tayong north-south. Okay, so yung dalawang pares na yun ay magka-opposite. So ngayon, kung meron tayong dalawang vector na merong opposite sign, ang gagawin natin is kunin lang natin yung difference. Okay, kunin natin yung difference nung magnitude. Okay, so kunin natin yung difference with 15 meters minus 7 meters. Okay, so we have 8 meters. And then, para dun sa direction natin, kopyahin nyo lang yung may pinakamalaking value ng magnitude. So, this one, di ba? Siya may pinakamalaking value ng magnitude. So, ito yung kokopyahin natin para sa kanyang direction. So, we have 8 meters east. Okay? So, that's it.
Case number 3. When two given vectors are forming an angle 90 degrees with another. So example, a car travels 4 kilometers east, then turns south for another 3 kilometers. Find the magnitude and direction of the resultant displacement.
Example number 3. Okay, so for B sub 1 natin, we have 4 kilometers east. Then do sa V sub 2 natin, we have 3 kilometers south. Okay. So find the magnitude and direction. So para mas klaro tayo, no? Pwede nating i-drawing. Okay, so pwede nating i-drawing siya. So we have 4 kilometers east. So dito yung east natin, north, south, and west. So we have 4 kilometers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 3 kilometers south. So 1, 2, 3. So dito, ito yung starting point natin. Then dito yung nag-turn naman siya pa south. Okay, so ito yung hahanapin natin, yung resultant. Okay, this one. So we have theta here, angle. So mapapansin nyo, nag-form siya ng 90 degrees. Okay, so nag-form siya ng 90 degrees. So this one. So ang gagawin natin, okay, so para mahanap natin yung magnitude, ito, so meron tayong involved na right triangle, tama? Okay, so para mahanap yung magnitude, okay, so remember, di ba, we have in Pythagorean theorem, we have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Okay, so same din kapag hinahanap natin yung magnitude, okay, ng resultant natin, so we have r squared is equal to v sub 1 squared plus v sub 2 squared. Okay, so we have r squared equals 4 squared plus 3 squared. We have r squared equals squared po yan, hindi yan 42. Square 16 plus 9. Okay, r squared equals 25. Therefore, get square root both sides. We have r is equal to 5 kilometers. Okay, so this is 5 kilometers. So meron tayong magnitude. Ang problema na lang is yung direction. Okay, kung ano yung magiging direction niya. Okay, for the angle and direction, okay, so for the angle and direction, this one, so mapapansin nyo, east, then pumunta siya ng south. Okay, so yung angle natin dito, okay, so from east to south, so we have dapat south of east ang magiging kinalabasan na to. Okay, south of east. So that means from east to south. Okay, south of east or east to south, same lang yun. Okay, so meron tayong involved na theta. So alamin natin theta, yung angle. And we have opposite side, which is 3, and adjacent. Okay, so ang gagamitin natin dito na trigonometric identity is yung tangent theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Okay, so tangent theta is equal to opposite adjacent. So we have tangent theta is equal to, ano yung opposite doon? So we have 3 kilometers, makapansin nyo 3 kilometers, over adjacent, which is yung 4. Okay, so we have here tangent theta is equal to 0.75. Then para mahanap yung angle, so kunin natin yung inverse trigonometric function ng tangent, which is yung arctan. Okay, so kunin natin yung arctan both sides. So we have theta is equal to arctan 0.75. Okay, so sa calculator we have theta is equal to, okay, so yung arctan is gawin nyo shift tan tapos 0.75. Okay, so we have 36.86 degrees. Okay, 36.86 degrees. So makapansin nyo dun, from east to south or south of east. Okay, so yung resultant natin, final answer is we have 5 kilometers, 36.86 degrees south of east. Okay, so this one.
Number 4, when two given vectors forms an oblique triangle. So example, a car moves 5 kilometers east, then turns 45 degrees north of east for another 3.25 kilometers before coming to stop. Find the magnitude and direction of the resultant displacement of the car.
Okay, dun sa example number 4 natin, so we have given natin v sub 1 is equal to 5 kilometers east. So 5 kilometer east. Then v sub 2 natin is we have 3.25 kilometers. Okay, that is 45 degrees north of east. Okay, 45 degrees north of east. Okay, kung kanina example is nag-form tayo ng right triangle. So dito naman, magpo-form ito ng oblique triangle. Okay, so para mas klaro sa atin, so pwede nating i-drawing, no? So we have, okay, this one. So 5 kilometers east, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this we have 5. East siya. So dito yung east, diba? Then north. Then we have north of east. So that means from east to north. Okay? So 45 degrees north of east. So that means east to north. 45 degrees. So 45 degrees. Okay. This one. We have 3.25 here. So 3.25, and this is the 45 degrees. Okay, so that is the 45 degrees. So from east to north or north of east. So this is the resultant vector. Okay, we want to find out what is the resultant vector. Okay, so mapapansin nyo, nag-form tayo ng oblique triangle dyan. Okay, so yan. Okay, so ito yung hanapin natin, resultant R. So, doon sa resultant R natin, okay, para mahanap natin yung resultant R, so gagamit tayo ng cosine law. Okay? Para dun sa magnitude. So, for magnitude, cosine law tayo, no? Cosine law. Okay, ano ba yung cosine law natin? We have r squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine theta. Okay? So, nasaan ba yung theta dyan? Okay. So, kikita nyo yung 45 degrees, nasa labas na siya ng triangle. Okay? So, kung kukunin natin yung supplement ng 45 degrees, since nasa straight line naman siya, no? Tapos meron tayong extended na ray, this one. So, itong angle na to, ang sum niya is 180. So, ngayon, kung ililess natin ito sa 180, ano yung measure nito? We have 135. So, dun sa loob natin, we have 135 degrees. Okay? So, ngayon, yung A natin dito is yung 5, tapos yung B naman natin is 3.25. Tapos yung theta, ito, yung 135 degrees. Okay, so we have r squared equals a squared. Ito yung A natin. Ito naman yung B. Kumbaga yung A at B natin, yun yung side. Okay, yung dalawang side ng triangle. Yung A and B. Tapos yung theta natin, yung theta, yun yung included angle. Okay? Yung angle na nasa pagitan ng dalawang side. Ng 5 tsaka 3.25. Okay? So we have A. So 5 squared plus 3.25 squared minus 2 times 5 times 3.25 times cosine, ano yun? 135. Okay? So, cosine 135. So, cosine 135. Okay, so, then, after nan, kunin nyo yung square root both sides. Okay? So, pwede nyo i-direkta sa calculator yan, no? Then, pag na-evaluate nyo na to, yung sa loob ng radicand natin, pwede nyo na kunin yung square root. So, R is equal to, lalabas is 6.86 kilometers. So, magnitude pa lang yan, no? Okay, so this is 6.86 kilometers. So, ngayon, ito yung hahanapin natin, yung theta. Okay, yung theta mismo. Para sa direction. Okay, yung angle tsaka direction natin. So, for angle and direction, so gagamit naman tayo ng sine law. Okay? So, B for the angle and direction. So, we will use sine law. Okay, sine law. Anong sabi sa sine law? Okay. A over sine E is equal to C over sine C. Ibig sabihin lang yan, meron tayong yung ratio daw nung side doon sa sine ng opposite angle. Okay. Ay equal daw yun sa another side then opposite sine ng opposite angle niya. So yun yung sinasabi ng sine law. Okay? So dito, ang goal kasi natin dito is mahanap yung angle. Okay? So since yung angle natin, meron siyang opposite side na 3.25, So, ano pa yung angle na pwede nating i-reference para maging proportion to? So, meron tayong 135 degrees dito. Then, ano yung opposite niya? Yung R. Ano yung R kanina? Yung 6.86 kilometer. So, pwede natin gamitin yun. Okay? So, we will use sine A. A over sine A is equal to C over sine C. Okay, yung A and C natin dyan na malaki, yung naka all caps is angle yan, okay? So kanina, yung A natin dun is 3.25, di ba? 3.25. Then yung opposite angle niya is yung hinahanap natin, yung theta. So itong theta natin, pagpalagay natin na siya yung A, okay? Okay, so we have sine A is equal to C. So yung C natin doon, yung dun sa ito, yung C natin is yung R. Yung 6.86 kilometer, din yung opposite angle niya is 135. Okay, so we have 6.86 over sine 135 degrees. Okay, so okay, multiply natin both sides by sine A and sine 135. So lalabas, we have 3.25 times sine 135 degrees is equal to 6.86. Baga lagay yan dyan. 6.86 times sine A. Sine A. Then divide both sides by 6.86. Divide by 6.86. Okay, so cancel na yan. So we have sine A. Sine A is equal to yan, 3.25 sine 135 degrees over 6.86. Okay, so yung sine A natin dito is we have 0.335. Okay. And then, para makuha yung angle A natin, so kunin natin yung inverse sine. So, arc sine 0.335. Or, dun sa calculator nyo, shift sine 0.335. So, lalabas, A is equal to 19.57 degrees. Okay? So, yan. So, mapansin nyo, ito yung 19.57 degrees natin. Okay? So, simula siya sa east, pumunta siya na east. So, mapansin nyo yung resultant natin. Okay? Yung resultant natin is pa-north. Okay? Pa-north siya. Okay? So, nagsimula sa east to north. So, that means yung direction natin, or yung ating angle and direction is, we have, ano yung resultant natin? We have 6.86 kilometers. Ang resultant natin is 6.86 kilometers. Direction 19.57 degrees. So from east to north. So that is north of east. North of east. Okay? So that's it.